Welcome to Horror Stories, sure. Here are 5 chilling tales inspired by the true experiences of people in national parks. These stories emphasize the mysterious and sometimes haunting elements of nature and the unpredictable encounters that can occur in the wilderness. 1. The Vanishing Hiker. In the early summer of 2019, a group of friends set out for a weekend hiking trip in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. They were excited to explore the scenic trails, but as night fell, they decided to camp near a glimmering stream. Later that evening, one of the friends, Jamie, decided to take a short nighttime walk along the trail, armed with just a flashlight. Hours passed, and Jamie did not return. Panic set in, and the group decided to search for her, calling her name and shining flashlights into the darkness. After hours of frantic searching, they alerted the park rangers, who organized a search party. They combed the area all night, but Jamie seemed to have vanished without a trace. Days turned into weeks, and despite extensive searches and publicity, there were no signs of Jamie. Some say they've witnessed a lone figure wandering those trails at night, her flashlight flickering like a ghostly beacon. Others claim to hear whispers calling their names as they venture into the woods, inexplicably drawn to the location where Jamie disappeared. 2. The Haunted Cabin at Glacier National Park in Montana. An unsuspecting family stumbled upon an old cabin while hiking. They were fascinated by its rustic charm and decided to explore it. Inside, they found dusty furniture and tattered books, as if the occupants had left in a hurry. They joked about it being an old ghost story and took pictures to capture the moment. That night, they decided to camp nearby. As they sat around the fire, the wind began to howl, and strange noises echoed from the direction of the cabin. The children reported seeing shadows moving in the windows, and the parents dismissed it as their imaginations. Suddenly, the door of the cabin creaked open, eerily inviting them in. Curiosity getting the better of them, they ventured inside. As soon as they stepped through the threshold, the temperature dropped, and they felt a heavy presence in the room. One of the children swore they saw a figure in old-fashioned clothing watching them from the corner. Terrified, they fled the cabin and retreated to their campsite, not daring to return. The next morning, the cabin was gone, as if it had never existed, leaving nothing but the memory of its haunting allure. 3. The Echoes of Lost Souls. In 2016, a college group went camping in Joshua Tree National Park in California. Excited to experience the desert night sky, they gathered around the campfire, sharing ghost stories and urban legends. As the fire crackled, they heard what sounded like distant laughter echoing through the hills. It was strange, unsettling, but they brushed it off. Later that night, they decided to investigate. Armed with flashlights, they ventured into the desert, following the eerie sound of laughter. The deeper they went, the more disoriented they became. The laughter transformed into soft cries, and the whispers turned chilling. Suddenly, they found themselves face to face with a group of spectral figures that seemed to materialize from the shadows. Their faces distorted in expressionless horror. Frozen with fear, the group turned to run but lost their way in the dark. After what felt like hours of wandering, they finally stumbled back to their campsite, hearts racing. To this day, they swear they heard those mournful whispers again long after they left the park, echoing in their dreams, serving as a grim reminder of that fateful night. 4. The Creepy Clifftop Encounter. In Rocky Mountain National Park, a young couple named Sam and Mia went for a hike to enjoy the breathtaking vistas. They found an isolated clifftop where they could take in the scenery away from the crowds. As they took pictures and soaked in the views, they noticed a man standing at the edge of the cliff, dressed in worn-out clothes. At first, they thought he was a fellow hiker, enjoying the same view. But when they approached him to say hello, he abruptly turned and walked away, disappearing into the thick foliage. Feeling uneasy, they decided to leave, but noticed a strange chill in the air. As they made their way down, they caught sight of the same man watching them from a distance, his gaze unyielding. It was as if he was following them, but whenever they turned to confront him, he was always out of reach, as if he were a ghost haunting the area. They quickened their pace, terrified, and finally reached their car, vowing never to return to that part of the park. The memory of that man lingers with them, a chilling spirit in their minds. 5. Whispers in the Forest. In Olympic National Park, a seasoned backpacker named Paul decided to explore the dense Hoh rainforest. He was excited to capture photography of the diverse wildlife, but soon found himself drawn deeper into the trees. The forest was eerily quiet, the typical sounds of birds and rustling leaves absent. As he set up camp, he began to hear whispers swirling around him, growing louder and more insistent. He couldn't make out the words, but they seemed to beckon him deeper into the woods. Unable to resist, he followed the sound, intrigued yet unnerved. As he ventured further, the air became thick, and shadows danced among the trees. Moments later, he stumbled upon a clearing where he found strange symbols carved into the ground. The whispers stopped abruptly as he stepped into the circle, and an intense feeling of dread washed over him. Panic surged, and he hurried back to his campsite. Throughout the night, he heard faint cries and laughter, almost as if the forest itself were alive with lost souls. When he returned home, he found he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, as if the park's ancient spirit had followed him back into the real world. These stories highlight the enigmatic and sometimes frightening experiences people can encounter in national parks. While they may be fictionalized, each story captures a grain of truth about the unpredictability and mystery of nature. Thank you for watching.